Just one more round, please.
The words slipped through the cracked bedroom door like poison. Raw, desperate, intimate. Una Davis froze in the hallway, cleaning supplies trembling in her hands. Inside, the most dangerous man in Seoul begged his wife for one more night.
Just one more round, please.
One more touch. His voice broke with need she never imagined a killer could feel.
Round, please.
Then his wife laughed. Cruel. Cold. Una's heart twisted. She shouldn't have heard this. Shouldn't have felt this ache for a man who could end her with a word. But when Choi Tae-sung's tortured gaze found hers through the doorway, everything shifted. She'll learn with screams later. Welcome to Afro-Korean Stories TV. Please like, share, and subscribe. Una Davis had been invisible for 3 months. The Hayes estate employed 12 staff members, but she preferred it that way. Invisible meant safe. Invisible meant she could send money home to her sick mother in Atlanta without anyone asking questions about the Black American girl scrubbing toilets in a Korean Mafia boss's mansion. She moved through the marble hallways each evening after the family retired, her dark curls pinned tight, her uniform crisp. Mrs. Hayes, born Park Min-ji, demanded perfection. Cold perfection. The kind that made the other maids whisper that she'd married Choi Tae-sung for power, not love. Una didn't care about their drama, until tonight. The second-floor hallway gleamed under her mop. 9:30. The house settled into expensive silence. She'd finish the east wing and disappear to her basement room before anyone noticed her existence. Then she heard his voice. Please, Min-ji. Low, rough, desperate. Just one more night. Just let me hold you. Una's hand stilled on the mop handle. The master bedroom door stood slightly ajar, golden light spilling across imported rugs. She shouldn't stop, shouldn't listen. Mrs. Hayes would fire her, or worse, if she caught her eavesdropping. But something in that voice made her chest tighten. You're pathetic. Mrs. Hayes's response dripped contempt. Begging like a dog. I have a headache, Tae-sung. Go sleep in your office. I'm your husband. You're a weapon my father purchased. Don't confuse our arrangement with romance. Silence crashed through the hallway. Una's breath caught. She should move, run, pretend she'd heard nothing. Just one more. Get out! Footsteps approached the door. Una grabbed her mop bucket and spun away, heart hammering against her ribs. Too late. The door flew open. Light flooded the hall, and Choi Tae-sung stood there. She'd seen him before, always at a distance. The newspapers called him the Devil of Seoul, the Korean kingpin who'd built an empire on fear and blood. 38 years old, untouchable, lethal. But they'd never mentioned how devastatingly beautiful he was, or how broken. His black hair fell across his forehead, disheveled. His white dress shirt hung open at the collar, revealing golden skin and the edge of a tattoo. Dark eyes, eyes that had ordered executions, toppled rivals, inspired terror, swam with something raw and desperate. Those eyes locked on hers. Time stopped. Una couldn't breathe, couldn't move. The mop handle slipped through her fingers and clattered against marble. You. His voice wrapped around her like smoke. How long have you been standing there? I just arrived, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't hear anything. I swear. He took a step forward. She took a step back. Something shifted in his expression. Not anger. Something worse. Something that made her pulse skip and her skin flush hot despite every logical reason to run. Recognition, hunger, devastation. What's your name? Una. Una Davis, sir. Una. He repeated it like a prayer, like a curse. His gaze traveled over her face, her full lips, her high cheekbones, the rebellious curl that had escaped her bun, and something cracked open in those deadly eyes. How long have you worked here? 3 months. 3 months. A bitter laugh escaped him. 3 months, and I never... He didn't finish. Behind him, Mrs. Hayes appeared in the doorway, her silk robe perfect, her expression ice. "Are you interrogating the help now? How desperate?" Tae-sung's jaw clenched, but he didn't look away from Yuna. "Go," he said softly. "Before I do something we'll both regret." Yuna fled. Her hands shook as she abandoned the mop and bucket, practically running down the servants' staircase to the basement. Her small room felt suffocating. She locked the door and pressed her back against it, gasping. What just happened? The way he'd looked at her, like she was oxygen and he was drowning. Like she'd ripped something open inside him just by existing. Dangerous. This was dangerous. She was nobody. A black American girl with a visa that could expire, a sick mother depending on her income, and a job she couldn't afford to lose. Choi Tae-sung was death wrapped in expensive suits. She needed to forget this. Forget his voice breaking with need. Forget the way his eyes had consumed her. Forget the impossible flutter in her chest when he'd said her name. Her phone buzzed, a text from her mother's nurse. "She's asking for you. Treatment is working, but we need next month's payment." Yuna closed her eyes. Right. She had responsibilities. Real problems. She couldn't afford to get tangled in her employer's twisted marriage or become collateral damage in a world where people like her disappeared. The next morning arrived too quickly. Yuna woke at 5, braided her hair, and reported to the kitchen. The head housekeeper, Mrs. Choi, no relation to the boss, handed out assignments with military precision. The usual routes. "Davis, you'll take the main floor library and dining room. Mr. Choi has breakfast at 7. Be invisible." "Yes, ma'am." Invisible. She could do invisible. She gathered her supplies and moved through the mansion like a ghost, dusting mahogany shelves and polishing silver. The library smelled like leather and old money. Photographs lined the walls. Tae-sung with politicians, with other suited men, with his cold, beautiful wife. Never smiling. "You missed a spot." Yuna spun. Tae-sung stood in the doorway, dressed in a black 3-piece suit that probably cost more than her annual salary. His hair was styled now, his expression controlled. The devil of soul had returned. But his eyes. God, his eyes still burned. "I'm sorry, sir. I'll fix it immediately." "I didn't mean the shelf." He stepped inside and closed the door. "I meant last night. I missed 3 months of seeing you. That's a spot in my awareness I can't forgive." Her pulse hammered. "Sir, I should go." "Do you know what I do, Yuna?" The way he said her name should be illegal. I know you're a businessman." A dark smile curved his lips. "I destroy people who lie to me. So let's start with honesty. You know exactly what I am. The staff talks. The newspapers talk. So tell me, are you afraid of me?" She should say yes, should run. "I don't know yet," she whispered. Something blazed in his expression. He crossed the room in 3 strides, stopping close enough that she could smell his cologne, cedar and smoke, and something dangerously masculine. "You heard everything last night. It wasn't a question." "I didn't mean to. I know." His voice dropped lower. "But you did. You heard me beg my wife for scraps of affection. You heard her remind me I'm nothing but a weapon she tolerates." He leaned closer, his breath warm against her temple. "Tell me, Yuna, did you pity me?" "No." "Then what did you feel?" She met his gaze, refusing to cower despite every instinct screaming danger. "Angry. I felt angry that someone could treat you like that." The confession hung between them. Tae-sung went very still. Then his hand rose, slowly giving her time to retreat, and his fingers brushed her cheek. The touch sent electricity racing down her spine. "Dangerous," he murmured. "You're dangerous." "Me?" You're the one they call the devil of soul. And you're the one who just made me feel human for the first time in a decade. His thumb traced her jawline. I should fire you. Send you away before this becomes something neither of us can control. Then do it. I can't. The words sounded tortured. God help me. I can't. The door opened. Tae-sung stepped back instantly, his expression shifting to cold neutrality as Mrs. Choi entered with a breakfast tray. Your meal, sir. Would you like it in here or the dining room? Dining room. And Mrs. Choi? His gaze flicked to Yuna. Miss Davis will handle all cleaning duties on the second floor from now on, including my private office. Mrs. Choi's eyebrows rose slightly. Sir, that's usually reserved for senior staff. Are you questioning me? No, sir. Of course not. Good. That's all. Mrs. Choi left, but not before shooting Yuna a look that promised questions later. Yuna's hands trembled as she gripped her cleaning cloth. Sir, you don't have to. I'm not having you scrub floors at midnight to avoid me. Tae-sung straightened his cuffs, his mask firmly in place. Second floor. My office. Every afternoon at 2. Don't be late, Yuna. He left before she could protest. By lunch, the entire staff knew about her promotion. Second floor, Ji-won, another maid, whispered in the kitchen. That's where Mrs. Hayes spends most of her time. And his office? Girl, that's dangerous territory. I didn't ask for it. Doesn't matter. Mrs. Hayes doesn't like changes. And if she thinks I'm not anything, Yuna cut her off. I'm just doing my job. But her hand still tingled where he'd touched her face. At 2 o'clock, Yuna climbed the stairs to the second floor. The corridor felt different in daylight. Expensive. Intimidating. Tae-sung's office sat at the end, double doors carved with dragons. She knocked. Come in. He sat behind a massive desk, paperwork spread before him, a phone pressed to his ear. He gestured for her to enter, while continuing his conversation in rapid Korean. Something about shipments and territories and eliminating problems. Yuna busied herself dusting bookshelves, trying to ignore the authority in his voice, the danger. That's all, he said finally, ending the call. Silence filled the room. You came. You ordered me to. I half expected you to quit instead. She turned to face him. I can't afford to quit. My mother needs medical treatment. This job pays for it. Something shifted in his expression. Softer. Your mother is sick. Cancer. Stage 3. She's responding to treatment, but it's expensive. Tae-sung set down his pen. What kind of cancer? Breast. Why? I know doctors. The best in Seoul. I could arrange. No. The word came out sharper than intended. Thank you, but no. I don't need charity. It wouldn't be charity. Then what would it be? He stood, rounding the desk with predatory grace. Insurance. Making sure you don't disappear because you can't afford to stay. Her breath caught. Sir. Tae-sung. When we're alone, call me Tae-sung. That's not appropriate. Neither is what I'm feeling right now. He stopped in front of her, close but not touching. You want honesty? Here it is. I've been married for 8 years. 8 years of sleeping in separate rooms. 8 years of being told I'm useful but unlovable. 8 years of becoming the monster everyone expects. His voice dropped. Then you appeared in my hallway with your cleaning supplies and your beautiful eyes, and your refusal to pity me. And suddenly, I remember what wanting feels like. What hope feels like. Yuna's heart hammered. You don't know me? Then let me. You're married? In name only. A business arrangement my father-in-law insisted on. Minji has made her feelings clear. Our marriage is a contract, nothing more. That doesn't make this right. I know. He reached up, tucking that rebellious curl behind her ear. But I'm not asking you to fix my marriage, Yuna. I'm asking you to let me be human around you. Just let me see you. Talk to you. Remember what it's like to want to be better instead of just more powerful. She should say no. Should run. One question, she whispered. If I say yes to whatever this is, will you protect me from the consequences? With my life. The conviction in his voice made her believe him. Okay. The next 2 weeks blurred together. Every afternoon at 2, Yuna cleaned Tae-sung's office while he worked. They talked about her childhood in Atlanta, about his youth training under his father's brutal regime, about books and music and dreams they'd both abandoned. He never touched her inappropriately, but the tension built like a storm. You're beautiful when you laugh, he said one afternoon, watching her giggle over a story about her college roommate. Do you know that? Her smile faded. Don't what? Look at me like that, like I'm something precious. I'm your maid. You're everything. The words hung heavy. And I'm trying so damn hard to be honorable about this, Yuna. But every day it gets harder. Every time you walk into this room, I want to lock the door and keep you here. Safe. Mine. I'm not yours. Not yet. That evening, Mrs. Hayes summoned her. Yuna stood in the woman's private sitting room, hands clasped, while Minji examined her like an insect. You've been spending time with my husband. I clean his office, ma'am. Don't play stupid. The staff talks. He requested you specifically. He watches you. Do you think I'm blind? Yuna's pulse raced. Mrs. Hayes, I promise nothing inappropriate. I don't care if you're sleeping with him. Minji's cold smile made her beautiful face ugly. Tae-sung is enthusiastic about his needs. I've always known he'd find outlets. But you? She laughed. A black American maid. How desperate has he become? The casual racism hit like a slap. I'll request a transfer, Yuna said quietly. Different floor. I don't want trouble. Too late. You are trouble. But here's what's going to happen. You'll continue your duties. You'll let him have his little fantasy. And when he gets bored, which he will, you'll disappear quietly. No drama, no demands, no crying to tabloids. Do that, and I'll make sure you're compensated. Refuse, and I'll have you deported before dawn. Yuna's hands clenched. I understand. Good. You're dismissed. She didn't tell Tae-sung about the conversation. What would she say? That his wife gave permission for an affair? That Minji saw her as so beneath them both that she didn't even register as a threat? Instead, Yuna tried to pull back. She kept their conversations professional, avoided eye contact, built walls. Tae-sung noticed immediately. What happened? He demanded one afternoon, catching her wrist as she tried to leave. You've barely said 10 words all week. Nothing happened. Liar. His grip gentlened, but didn't release. Talk to me. Sir. Tae-sung. Say my name, Yuna. I can't do this. The words burst out. Whatever this is, I can't. You're married. I'm nobody. This ends badly for me no matter what. His jaw tightened. Did Minji threaten you? Her silence answered. What did she say? It doesn't matter. Tell me. Command filled his voice, the devil of soul returning. Now. So she told him. Every word. Every casual cruelty. By the end, Tae-sung's expression had gone terrifyingly blank. Stay here, he said quietly. What are you going to do? What I should have done years ago. He left. Yuna heard the shouting from 2 floors down. The entire staff heard it. Tae-sung's voice, cold and final, delivering ultimatums in Korean and English. Minji's sharp responses, breaking glass, slamming doors. Then silence. Footsteps approached. Tae-sung appeared in the office doorway, his knuckles bloody, his tie loosened. Pack your things. What? Not everything. Just what you need for tonight. I'm moving you to the guest house. As of now, you're under my direct protection. Anyone who threatens you threatens me. Tae-sung, you can't just... I filed for divorce an hour ago. My lawyers are drawing up papers. Minji's father will retaliate, which means war is coming. And I will burn this entire organization to ash before I let anyone hurt you. So pack. Now. Please. The please broke her. Yuna crossed the room and took his damaged hands in hers. You're insane. Probably. He pulled her close, resting his forehead against hers. But I'm done pretending I can live without you. I've existed in darkness so long, I forgot what light looked like. Then you appeared. And I can't go back, Yuna. I won't. People will die because of this. They were already dying. My world runs on blood. But at least now I'm fighting for something that matters. Someone who matters. His lips brushed her temple. Not quite a kiss. A promise. Give me time, he whispered. Let me end my marriage properly. Let me make sure you're safe. Then I'll ask you properly if you want this. Want me. No pressure. No threats. Just choice. Yuna closed her eyes. And if I say no, then I'll let you go. But I'll still protect you. Still make sure you're safe. Because that's what you do when you... He stopped. When you what? When you love someone. The world tilted. The guest house sat at the edge of the estate, hidden by cherry trees and high walls. Yuna stood in, the marble entryway, her single suitcase feeling absurdly small in the luxury surrounding her. Crystal chandeliers, silk curtains, furniture that cost more than her childhood home. This is too much, she whispered. Tae-sung set down her bag, his movements careful despite the blood still staining his knuckles. This is the safest place on the property. My men patrol the perimeter. No one enters without my permission. Your wife? Ex-wife. The papers are filed. Her father knows. By morning, half of Seoul's underworld will know Choi Tae-sung chose a woman over a strategic alliance. His dark eyes found hers. They'll come for you, Yuna, to punish me, to prove I'm weak. I need you here where I can protect you. Her chest tightened. You're really doing this? I already did it. He crossed to her, cupping her face with surprising gentleness. But I meant what I said. You have a choice. Stay in the guest house under my protection as an employee. Or, he swallowed hard, or stay as something more, when you're ready. If you're ever ready. Tae-sung, don't answer now. Just let me keep you safe, please. The vulnerability in his voice undid her. Yuna rose on her toes and pressed a soft kiss to his jaw. Okay. His breath caught. Okay? Keep me safe. And maybe... She pulled back to meet his gaze. Maybe teach me about your world, who you really are beyond the monster everyone fears. Something blazed in his expression. You already see me, Yuna. That's the problem. You see everything I've tried to hide. That night, sleep refused to come. Yuna lay in a bed, larger than her old apartment, staring at the ceiling, her mind racing. What had she done? She'd become entangled with a Mafia boss, a man who'd just declared war on his own organization for her, a man who'd said he loved her. Her phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Sleep well, beautiful. My men are outside if you need anything. T.S. Despite everything, she smiled. Another text. And Yuna, thank you for not running. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. Then she typed, Where would I go? You're the most interesting thing that's ever happened to me. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Dangerous words. You like danger, she replied. I like you. Her heart stuttered. This was insane, reckless. Everything her practical mind screamed against, but her heart whispered something different. Good night, Tae-sung. Sweet dreams, Yuna. Tomorrow begins your education. Morning arrived with a knock on the door. A woman in an elegant suit stood on the threshold, her expression professionally neutral. Miss Davis? I'm Young-hae Won, Mr. Choi's personal assistant. He's asked me to prepare you for the day. Prepare me? You'll be accompanying him to several meetings. You'll need appropriate attire and briefing on basic protocol. Hae-won's eyes softened slightly. Don't worry, I'll help you navigate this world. Mr. Choi he's never brought someone into his professional life like this. It means something. 2 hours later, Yuna barely recognized herself. The designer dress hugged her curves perfectly, deep emerald, that made her brown skin glow. Her hair fell in soft waves. Minimal makeup enhanced her natural beauty rather than hiding it. He's going to lose his mind, Hae-won murmured approvingly. Come, the car's waiting. Tae-sung stood beside a black Mercedes, talking on his phone in rapid Korean. He looked up as Yuna approached. The phone slipped from his hand. One of his guards caught it smoothly, but Tae-sung didn't notice. His gaze traveled over her slowly, hungrily, before snapping back to her face with visible effort. You're trying to kill me, he said roughly. Heat flooded her cheeks. Hae-won chose the dress. Hae-won deserves a raise. He closed the distance between them, his hand settling possessively on her lower back. But we need rules, Yuna, because looking at you like this makes me want to cancel every meeting and lock us both in that guest house for a week. What kind of rules? In public, I'm your employer, professional, controlled. In private, his thumb traced small circles against her spine. In private, I'm the man who can barely breathe when you're near. Can you handle that? Can you? A dark smile curved his lips. We're about to find out. The first meeting took place in a luxury hotel's private conference room. 6 men in expensive suits sat around a table, their expressions ranging from curious to hostile. Yuna recognized the setup immediately, a power play. They wanted to see Tae-sung's weakness. Gentlemen, Tae-sung said smoothly, pulling out a chair for Yuna before taking his own seat. Let's begin. For the next hour, she watched him transform. The gentleman who'd held her face tenderly disappeared. In his place sat the devil of soul, cold, calculating, absolutely lethal. He negotiated territory disputes with surgical precision, made threats that sounded like polite suggestions, reminded everyone in the room exactly why he controlled half the city. But every few minutes, his gaze would flick to her. A silent check. Are you okay? Do you need to leave? She stayed. Learned, watched him command respect through sheer force of will. Your woman is very quiet, one man said in English, his tone mocking. Does she speak, Choicy? Or is she just decoration? The temperature in the room dropped. Tae-sung's expression didn't change, but something deadly entered his eyes. Would you like to repeat that question, Parkasy? I want to make sure I heard correctly before I respond. Park's smirk faded. I meant no disrespect. You implied Miss Davis as an object, decoration. Would you prefer I treat your wife the same way? Perhaps invite her to my next meeting as, what did you call it, decoration? Choicy, I apologize. Apologize to her, not me. Silence crashed through the room. Park's face flushed red, but he turned to Yuna. My apologies, Miss Davis. I spoke carelessly. Apology accepted? Yuna said quietly, meeting his gaze steadily. And for your information, I stay quiet because I'm learning, not because I have nothing to say. Tae-sung's hand found hers beneath the table, squeezed once. Pride. That squeeze said pride. They left an hour later, his hand never leaving her lower back as they walked to the car. That was, Yuna started. Terrifying. Brutal? Incredible. She turned to face him. You destroyed him without raising your voice. He insulted you. If we weren't in a public place, I would have done much worse. Tae-sung's jaw tightened. In my world, reputation is everything. By bringing you to that meeting, I announced you're under my protection. Anyone who disrespects you, disrespects me. Park was testing boundaries. And you demolished them. I'll demolish anyone who tries to hurt you. He cupped her face. Do you understand what you've stepped into? This isn't romance novels or movies. This is real. Dangerous. Men like Park will try to use you against me. They'll threaten you. Maybe try to take you. Then teach me. Yuna covered his hands with hers. Teach me how to survive in your world. Something fierce and possessive flashed in his eyes. You're sure? I'm terrified. But I'm sure. He kissed her forehead. Then let's continue your education. The next stop was his legitimate business, a tech company that served as his public face. The contrast was startling. Here, Tae-sung was the respected CEO. Employees bowed respectfully. Everything gleamed with corporate polish, no hint of the darkness beneath. You compartmentalize, Yuna observed, as they rode the elevator to his top-floor office. I have to. This company employs 3,000 people. They have families, mortgages, dreams. They don't need to know their paychecks come from a man who's ordered executions. Does that bother you? He considered the question. It used to. Now it's just what I am. Monster and man, devil and CEO, killer and... He stopped. And what? The elevator doors opened. And someone trying very hard not to fall deeper for a woman who deserves better, he finished quietly. Before she could respond, his secretary appeared. Sir, your 2 o'clock is waiting. And Mrs. Choi called. Former Mrs. Choi, she corrected quickly. She's demanding to speak with you. Tae-sung's expression hardened. Tell her my lawyers will handle all communication. She said it's urgent, about the divorce terms. Not interested. Sir, she mentioned Miss Davis specifically. Everything in him went still. What exactly did she say? The secretary glanced at Yuna nervously. That Miss Davis should be careful. That accidents happen to women who don't know their place. The air turned to ice. Get legal on the phone, Tae-sung said, his voice deadly calm. I want a restraining order filed within the hour, and send security to the main house. If Minji goes anywhere near Yuna, I want to know immediately. Yes, sir. He turned to Yuna, his mask slipping to show pure fury beneath. This is why I need you in the guest house. Why I need guards on you. She's not going to accept this quietly. I can handle threats. No. His hands framed her face. You don't understand. Minji's father controls the Busan ports. He has connections to organizations that make my people look like children. If he decides you're an acceptable target. His forehead pressed against hers. I can't lose you, Yuna. I've lost too much already. Her heart cracked at the desperation in his voice. Then don't, she whispered. Don't lose me. Teach me. Protect me. But don't push me away because you're scared. I'm terrified. Good. So am I. We'll be terrified together. A rough sound escaped him, half laugh, half sob. Then his mouth found hers. The kiss was nothing like she'd imagined. Not gentle, not practiced. It was raw and desperate, and tasted like fear, and hope, and longing, all tangled together. His hand slid into her hair. Her fingers gripped his suit jacket. The world narrowed to just this. His breath, his heat, his need matching hers. Someone cleared their throat. They broke apart to find Hae-won standing diplomatically in the doorway. Sir, your meeting. Cancel it. Sir, cancel everything. Clear my schedule. He didn't look away from Yuna. We're leaving. He drove her to a private beach house an hour outside Seoul. Waves crashed against white sand. The house itself was modern glass and steel, isolated and beautiful. No guards, no staff, just them. "I bought this place years ago," Tae-sung said, leading her inside, "when I needed to remember I was human. Minji never came here. No one from my organization knows about it. It's mine. Just mine. Why did you bring me here?" He turned to face her, vulnerability written across his features. "Because I'm about to ask you something, and I need you to see the real me when you answer. Not the devil of soul, not the CEO. Just me. Tae-sung, the man who hasn't felt anything real in a decade until you." Her breath caught. "What's the question? Give me a chance." His voice roughened. "A real chance. Not as your employer or your protector, but as a man who's falling impossibly in love with you. Let me court you properly. Take you to dinner. Learn everything about you. Prove I'm more than the monster everyone sees. You've already filed for divorce, started a war, bought me designer dresses. That's not courting. That's me trying to keep you alive and close." He took her hands. "I want to know your favorite movie. What makes you laugh? What you dream about at 3 in the morning. I want to meet your mother when she's well enough. I want to earn you, Yuna. Not buy you, or command you, or intimidate you into staying." Tears pricked her eyes. "You really mean that?" "Every word. But you need to understand what you're accepting. My life is complicated, dangerous. I have enemies who will see you as a weakness. I can't promise safety or normalcy or any of the things you deserve. What can you promise? That I'll spend every day trying to be worthy of you. That I'll protect you with everything I have. That I'll never lie to you about who or what I am." His thumb brushed her knuckles. "And that if you give me your heart, I'll guard it like the most precious thing I've ever held. Because it will be." She should think, consider, be practical. Instead, she kissed him. This time, she controlled the pace, soft and slow, tasting him, learning him, his sharp intake of breath, the way his hands tightened on her waist, the sound he made when she bit his lower lip gently. "Is that a yes?" he murmured against her mouth. "That's a yes." They spent the afternoon talking, curled together on the couch, ocean sounds filtering through open windows, sharing stories like normal people. He told her about his childhood, the brutal training, his father's impossible standards, the first time he'd been forced to hurt someone. "I was 15, he said quietly. "A rival's son. My father said it was necessary. That mercy was weakness. I still see his face sometimes." Yuna's hand found his. "You were a child, forced into an impossible situation. Does that excuse it? No, but it explains it. And the fact that you still think about it, still feel guilt, that means you're not the monster you think you are." He pulled her closer. "You see good in me that doesn't exist. I see truth, the good and the bad, the killer and the man who begged his wife for affection, the devil and the person who's terrified of losing me." She tilted her face up. "I see you, Tae-sung, all of you, and I'm still here." His kiss tasted like gratitude. Later, he made her laugh with stories about his attempts to appear normal. "I tried grocery shopping once," he said. "Thought it would be humanizing. I lasted 10 minutes before I bought the entire store's inventory of instant noodles because I couldn't decide which brand to choose. You didn't. I did. My staff ate ramen for 3 months." His smile was self-deprecating. "Turns out, you can't learn to be normal when you've never been allowed to be. Then we'll learn together." Yuna traced patterns on his chest. "I'll teach you about normal things, and you teach me about your world. Deal?" Best deal I've ever made. Evening arrived too quickly. Tae-sung ordered dinner from a private chef, Korean barbecue that made Yuna moan with pleasure. He watched her eat with undisguised fascination. "What?" she asked, suddenly self-conscious. "You enjoy things fully. No pretense, no hiding." His eyes darkened. "It's incredibly attractive." Heat flooded her skin. "Stop looking at me like that." "Like what?" "Like you want to devour me." "I do." He leaned closer. "But I'm trying to be a gentleman, court you properly. Which means not pushing too fast, even though every instinct I have is screaming to make you mine in every way possible." Her breath hitched. "What if I don't want you to be a gentleman?" His control visibly frayed. "Yuna, I'm not saying tonight, or even soon. But don't treat me like I'm fragile. I'm not. I'm a woman who knows what she wants. And I want you to stop holding back because you think I can't handle your intensity." Something primal flashed in his eyes. "You have no idea what you're asking for." "Then show me." He stood abruptly, pacing to the window. His shoulders were rigid, hands clenched. "If I touch you the way I want to right now, I won't stop. I'll mark you, claim you, ruin you for anyone else. And tomorrow, when reality crashes back, you'll realize you made a mistake with a monster." Yuna rose and crossed to him. Her hand slid up his back, feeling tension coiled like a spring. "I'm not afraid of your intensity. I'm afraid of you treating me like something breakable when I'm not. I've survived poverty, my mother's illness, discrimination, working in a world that tried to make me invisible. I'm stronger than you think." He turned, catching her wrists. "This isn't about strength. It's about what I'll become once I have you. The possessiveness, the jealousy, the need to keep you close and safe and mine. I'll be obsessed, Yuna, unbearably so. I know." She met his dark gaze steadily. "And I'm choosing it anyway. Choosing you. All of you. The gentleman and the devil. The man and the monster." His control shattered. The kiss was consuming. His hands tangled in her hair, angling her head for better access as his tongue explored her mouth. She gasped, and he swallowed the sound, backing her against the wall with delicious pressure. "Last chance," he growled against her lips. "Tell me to stop. Don't you dare." What followed was poetry written in touch and taste, and breathless need. He lifted her easily, her legs wrapping around his waist as he carried her to the bedroom. The ocean sang through open windows. Moonlight painted everything silver. They learned each other slowly. Every scar, every sensitive spot, every sound that meant more or yes or please. His hands worshipped her curves with reverent intensity. Her fingers traced the tattoos covering his back. A dragon, characters she couldn't read, symbols of his violent world. "Beautiful," he murmured against her skin. "You're so damn beautiful." "So are you," she gasped as his mouth found her throat. "Even with your scars. Maybe especially because of them." He pulled back to look at her, something vulnerable flickering in his eyes. "No one's ever called me beautiful." Then they were blind. The kiss he gave her then was tender, almost unbearably so, like she was something precious he'd been trusted to hold. When they finally came together, it felt like inevitability, like puzzle pieces clicking into place. He moved with careful intensity, watching her face, learning what made her arch and moan and clutch his shoulders. "Mine," he whispered against her ear. "Say it, Yuna. Say you're mine. Yours." The word came out breathless. "But you're mine too. That's the deal." "Deal." His rhythm increased, driving them both higher. Forever. No takebacks. She would have laughed if she could breathe. Instead, she pulled him down for a kiss, as pleasure built and finally shattered through them both. Afterward, they lay tangled together, heartbeats slowly returning to normal. Tae-sung held her like she might disappear, his face buried in her hair. "Tell me this is real," he murmured. "Tell me I didn't dream you." "Very real." Yuna traced lazy patterns on his chest. "And probably very complicated come morning." "Morning can wait." He kissed her temple. "For now, let me just hold you." She smiled against his skin. "Okay. Yuna? Thank you. For seeing me. For choosing me. For not running when every logical bone in your body probably screamed to. Thank you for being worth the risk." They drifted to sleep like that, wrapped around each other, temporary safe from the world. Reality arrived at dawn. Tae-sung's phone buzzed insistently. He groaned, reaching for it without disturbing Yuna still sleeping against his chest. The message made him go rigid. Urgent. Minji's father making moves. Meeting at noon. Hey, one. Another text followed. He knows about the beach house. Every protective instinct roared to life. Tae-sung carefully extracted himself from the bed, tucking blankets around Yuna's sleeping form. He texted back, "Send a security team. Now. And prepare for war." He'd known this was coming. Known that choosing Yuna over the alliance with Minji's family would have consequences. But seeing it spelled out in cold text made his blood run ice. They'd found his sanctuary, the one place he'd thought was safe, which meant nowhere was safe anymore. Yuna woke to find Tae-sung dressed, standing at the window with his phone pressed to his ear. The tension in his shoulders told her everything. "Don't care what his terms are," he said coldly in Korean. "Tell Park Jin-woo that if he wants war, I'll give him war. But he touches her, and I'll burn Busan to the ground." A pause. "No. Move her to the safest location." "Yes. I'll be there in 2 hours." He ended the call and turned to find her sitting up, blankets clutched to her chest. "How bad?" she asked quietly. His jaw tightened. "Minji's father knows about this place, about us. He's calling an emergency council meeting, essentially putting me on trial for breaking the alliance." "What does that mean?" "It means every family head and soul will decide if I'm still useful or if I've become a liability." He crossed to sit beside her, taking her hands. "Yuna, I need to take you somewhere safer, a secure location with my most trusted men, just until I handle this." Fear clawed at her throat. "You're going alone?" "I have to. This is my world, my consequences." His thumb brushed her knuckles. "But I need to know you're protected. Please don't fight me on this." "What if something happens to you?" "It won't." "Tae-sung." "It won't," he repeated firmly. "Because I'm coming back to you. I didn't find you just to lose you to politics and pride." He pulled her close, his forehead resting against hers. "Trust me. Please." She wanted to argue, to demand she stay by his side. But the fear in his eyes, the genuine terror of losing her, made her relent. "Okay, but you come back. Promise me." "I promise." An hour later, 3 black SUVs arrived. Tae-sung's security team moved with military precision, surrounding the beach house while Haiwan briefed him in rapid Korean. Yuna dressed quickly in the clothes they'd brought, practical jeans, a sweater, running shoes. Preparing for what? Running? Fighting? "Miss Davis," a man approached, his expression respectful. "I'm Captain Min Ho-jin. I'll be your primary security. Mr. Choi has instructed us to guard you with our lives." "That seems excessive." "It's not." His tone was gentle but firm. "You're the most valuable person in his world right now, which makes you the biggest target." The words settled like lead in her stomach. Tae-sung appeared, dressed in a sharp black suit that transformed him back into the devil of soul. But when he looked at her, his eyes softened. "The safe house is 2 hours north. Mountains. Isolated. My men have secured the perimeter." He cupped her face. "I'll call you every hour. And Yuna, if anything feels wrong, anything, you tell Ho-jin immediately. Don't be brave. Don't try to handle it alone. Same goes for you. A ghost of a smile touched his lips. Deal. He kissed her then, deep and claiming and desperate. A kiss that tasted like goodbye, even though he swore he was coming back. I love you, he murmured against her mouth. I know it's too soon. I know it's complicated. But I need you to know that before I walk into that room full of vipers. I love you, Yuna Davis. Her heart cracked wide open. I love you too. So you better come back. Wild horses couldn't keep me away. The safe house was exactly as he'd described, perched on a mountainside, surrounded by forest, with security cameras covering every angle. Inside it was comfortable, modern furniture, stocked kitchen, soft beds, a gilded cage. Yuna spent the first hour pacing. Captain Ho-jin watched from his position by the door, his expression sympathetic. He'll be fine, Miss Davis. Mr. Choi is the most dangerous man in Seoul. No one dares move against him directly. Then why does this feel like a trap? Because you're smart, he gestured to the couch. Sit. I'll make tea. And I'll tell you exactly what's happening in that meeting. Over tea, Ho-jin explained the hierarchy. Park Jin-woo controlled the ports. Import, export, drug routes, weapon shipments. His alliance with Tae-sung had been crucial for years. The marriage to Minji had cemented it. But Mr. Choi has been building his own network, Ho-jin said. Legal businesses, tech companies, real estate. He's been preparing to break away from the old families for years. You just accelerated the timeline. So I ruined his plans. No, you gave him a reason to finally execute them. Ho-jin's smile was faint. He's been half dead for years, Miss Davis, going through motions, building power, but not knowing why. Then you appeared, and suddenly he remembered what he was fighting for. Her throat tightened. What happens if the council votes against him? They won't. But if they do? Ho-jin's expression darkened. Then war. Real war. Bodies in the streets. Territories burning. Everything he's built torn apart. He met her gaze. Which is why you're here. Because if Park Jin-woo can't touch Mr. Choi directly, he'll come for you. And Mr. Choi would burn the world before he let that happen. Tae-sung's first call came exactly 1 hour later. I'm fine, he said immediately. The meeting is still happening. Park Jin-woo is grandstanding, making speeches about loyalty and tradition. What are you doing? Letting him. Sometimes you win by letting your enemy exhaust themselves. His voice softened. How are you? Is the house acceptable? It's fine. I miss you. I miss you too, more than is probably healthy. A pause. Yuna, I need to tell you something. After this meeting, things will move fast. Either I'll have the council's support, or I'll be declared rogue. If it's the latter, don't. Listen, if it's the latter, I have contingency plans, papers for you, new identity, money in offshore accounts. Ho-jin will take you somewhere safe. Stop, her voice cracked. You're not dying today, you promised. I'm not planning to, but I need you to know that whatever happens, you're protected. I've made sure of it. Tears burned her eyes. I don't want money or new identities. I want you. Then I'll come back. The conviction in his voice steadied her. I have to go. They're calling us back. I love you. I love you too. Be careful. Always. The line went dead. The second hour crawled by. Yuna tried reading, watching television, anything to distract herself from imagining worst-case scenarios. But every creak of the house, every distant sound, made her jump. Ho-jin's phone buzzed. His expression shifted. Confusion, then alarm. He answered in rapid Korean, his tone urgent. What? Yuna demanded. What's happening? He held up a hand, still listening. Then he swore, the first time she'd heard him break composure, and turned to his team. Lockdown. Now. All entrances secured. No one in or out. What's happening? Yuna repeated, fear spiking. Ho Jin faced her, his expression grim. There's been an incident at the meeting. Gunfire. Mr. Choi is alive, but the situation is active. We're going dark until the lights cut out. Darkness swallowed the house. Emergency lighting flickered on seconds later, dim red that cast everything in hellish shadows. Ho Jin already had his weapon drawn, his team moving to defensive positions. Stay behind me, he ordered Yuna, and stay quiet. Her heart hammered against her ribs. Is this Park Jin-woo? Don't know yet. Could be a diversion, could be. Glass shattered upstairs. Multiple footsteps, heavy boots, voices shouting in Korean. Basement, Ho Jin hissed. Now! He pushed her toward a hidden door she hadn't noticed, even as gunfire erupted above them. The sound was deafening. Nothing like movies. All sharp cracks and splintering wood. Yuna stumbled down concrete steps into darkness, Ho Jin right behind her. He slammed a steel door shut and spun multiple locks. Panic room, he explained tersely, hitting switches. Lights hummed to life, revealing a reinforced space with monitors showing camera feeds. We can hold here for hours if needed. My men will handle. On the monitors, she watched his team fall. 1, 2, 3. Professional. Brutal. The attackers moved like military, coordinated, efficient, overwhelming. Ho Jin's face went ashen. No, that's not possible. Those are... He grabbed his phone, dialing frantically. No signal. He tried radio. Static. Who are they? Yuna whispered. Professionals. Not Park's usual thugs. This is someone else. Someone with resources. His jaw clenched. Someone who wants Mr. Choi destroyed completely. Above them, footsteps approached the basement door. Come out, Miss Davis, a voice called down in accented English. We have no desire to harm you. We simply want to talk. Ho Jin positioned himself in front of her, weapon raised. Don't believe them. What do they want? You. As leverage against Mr. Choi. He met her eyes. I'm going to buy you time. There's an escape tunnel. I'm not leaving you. You are. He pressed a remote into her hand. This opens the tunnel. Follow it to the forest. Run north. There's a highway 3 kilometers away. Flag down a car. Call this number. He scribbled on her palm with a pen. Tell them code Phoenix. They'll extract you. Ho Jin? Miss Davis? His smile was sad. Mr. Choi gave me one job. Keep you alive. Let me do it. The basement door buckled under repeated impacts. He shoved her toward the tunnel entrance, already swinging his weapon toward the door. Run! Don't look back. And tell Mr. Choi. Tell him it was an honor. I'll tell him you're a hero, Yuna choked out. Good enough. Now go. She ran. The tunnel was narrow, dark, endless. Yuna's lungs burned as she sprinted through blackness, one hand trailing the wall, the remote clutched in the other. Behind her, muffled gunfire. Shouting. Then, horribly, silence. Tears streamed down her face, but she didn't stop. The tunnel ended in a locked grate. She fumbled with the remote, pressing buttons until something clicked. The grate swung open to reveal forest. Dark trees, cold air, freedom. She climbed out and ran. Branches tore at her clothes. Roots tried to trip her. But she ran north, always north, like Ho Jin said. Her phone was back at the house. No way to call Tai Sung. No way to know if he was alive or dead. If those gunshots at the meeting had found him. If she'd never see him again. No, she couldn't think like that. He'd promised to come back, and Tai Sung kept his promises. She just had to survive long enough to see him again. The highway appeared like salvation. Yuna burst from the tree line, gasping, her clothes torn and dirty. A few cars passed, ignoring her desperate waving. Finally, a truck slowed, an older Korean man peering out suspiciously. "Please," she gasped in broken Korean she'd picked up. "Please, help. Danger. Need phone?" His expression shifted to concern. He gestured for her to get in. She did, hands shaking as she recited the number Ho Jin had given her. The driver handed her his phone. It rang once. "Verification code," a woman's voice answered in English. "Code Phoenix. This is Una Davis. I need extraction. The safe house was compromised. Ho Jin," her voice broke. "Ho Jin might be dead." A pause. "Location?" she asked the driver, who responded. The woman on the phone confirmed. "Stay in public. We're sending a team. 20 minutes. Don't trust anyone else." The line died. Una thanked the driver, who'd pulled into a rest stop. She stumbled into the fluorescent-lit building, collapsing into a booth near the window where she could watch the parking lot, where she could see if anyone came for her, where she could fall apart without witnesses. Tae-sung's phone finally had signal. He stood in the aftermath of the meeting. 3 bodies, his suit splattered with blood that wasn't his, surrounded by his most loyal men. The vote had gone his way. Barely. But then Park Jin-woo had tried to end the debate with bullets. Stupid. Desperate. Fatal. Now Park lay dead on the conference room floor, and Tae-sung was consolidating power faster than planned, but none of it mattered when he saw the missed calls. 7 from Ho Jin. Then nothing. His blood turned to ice. He dialed. No answer. Tried again. Nothing. "Sir?" Hae-won approached carefully. "What's wrong?" "Get me transport. Now. And a tactical team." His voice was deadly, calm. Someone went after Una. The room went silent. "Find out who," Tae-sung continued, his fury barely contained. "I want names, affiliations, everyone involved, and then I want them erased. Not arrested, not negotiated with, erased." "Sir, we should—" "Now, Hae-won." He looked up, and she took a step back at what she saw in his eyes. "Because if anything has happened to her, I will turn this entire city into a graveyard, starting with anyone who gets in my way." The extraction team arrived in 18 minutes. 4 operatives in civilian clothes, moving with military precision. The woman who'd answered the phone, Agent Kang, approached Una's booth. "Miss Davis, are you injured?" "No." "But Ho Jin, the safe house. They had professionals, military. It wasn't supposed to be possible." "We know. Mr. Choi has been informed. He's en route." Kang's expression softened minutely. "You did well. Ho Jin would be proud. Is he?" "We don't know yet. A recovery team is heading to the safe house now." She gestured to the exit. "We need to move you again. Somewhere even Mr. Choi's enemies can't find." "Where?" "His personal residence. The one no one knows about. Not even his organization." Kang's slight smile was approving. "He's kept it secret for years. You'll be the first person he's ever brought there." The drive took an hour. They wound through Seoul's outskirts to an unassuming neighborhood. Middle class, quiet, normal. The building was a modest apartment complex, nothing that screamed wealth or power. Kang led her to the top floor. The apartment inside was simple but comfortable. Books everywhere. A kitchen that showed use. Photographs of places, not people. A home, not a showpiece. "This is where he comes to be human," Kang explained. "Wait here. He'll come as soon as he can." Then she and her team left, posting guards in the hallway, but giving Una space. Alone, Una finally let herself break. She sank to the floor and sobbed. For Ho Jin's sacrifice, for the terror of running through darkness, for the horrifying possibility that Tae-sung might not come back. She cried until she had nothing left. She woke to gentle hands lifting her. "I've got you," Tae-sung's voice murmured. "I've got you, beautiful. You're safe." Yuna's eyes flew open. He was there, Alive. Solid. Real. Blood on his suit, but not his skin. His expression devastated as he cradled her against his chest. "Ho-Jin," she whispered. His jaw tightened. "Alive. Barely. In surgery. He killed 4 of them before they subdued him." Pride and grief warred in his voice. "He's going to make it. And when he wakes up, I'm promoting him and giving him enough money to retire if he wants." Who did this? Park Jin-woo's brother, Park Jin-ho. He didn't trust his brother to handle the meeting, so he sent a team after you as insurance. Tae-sung's arms tightened around her. He underestimated Ho-Jin, and he severely underestimated how far I'd go to protect you. Where is he now? Dead. His entire operation dismantled. His allies given a choice. Swear loyalty to me or die. His dark eyes met hers. "I told you, Yuna. I would burn this city down before I let anyone take you from me. I meant it." She should be horrified, should fear the monster in his voice. Instead, she kissed him. He responded instantly, desperately, like a drowning man finding air. His hands tangled in her hair. Her fingers gripped his bloody jacket. The kiss tasted like relief and fury and love too big to contain. "Don't ever scare me like that again," he growled against her mouth. "Then don't leave me behind next time. We face danger together or not at all. Yuna, I mean it, Tae-sung. I know your world is dangerous. I accept that. But don't lock me away like something fragile. Let me stand beside you." He pulled back, studying her face. Whatever he saw there made his expression soften. "You're remarkable. You know that. Most people would run screaming. You're demanding to stay. Most people aren't in love with you. No, they're not." He kissed her forehead. "Okay. We face things together. But you follow my lead on security. Deal?" Deal. That night they didn't make love. They just held each other. Tae-sung curled around her like a shield, her head on his chest, his heartbeat steady beneath her ear. Processing. Healing. Surviving. "Tell me something good," she whispered. "Something from before all this darkness." He was quiet for a moment. "When I was 8, before my father's training got brutal, my mother took me to the ocean. Just us. She built sand castles and laughed, and let me be a normal child for one perfect day." His voice roughened. "She died 6 months later. But I remember that day, like it was yesterday. The sound of her laugh, the way the sun felt, the taste of the ice cream she bought me." Yuna's throat tightened. "She sounds wonderful." She was. She would have loved you. Your strength, your refusal to be intimidated, your beautiful heart. He kissed her hair. "What about you? Tell me a good memory." "Christmas when I was 10. Mom worked 3 jobs, but she still managed to get me this ridiculous doll I'd wanted. I found the receipt later. She'd been making payments on it for months. I didn't understand sacrifice then. But now," she smiled against his chest. "Now I understand. She gave me everything she could. Love in action, not just words. That's what I want to give you. Love in action." His arms tightened. "Safety, protection, a life where you don't have to be scared." "I'm not scared. Not when I'm with you. You should be. I'm dangerous, Yuna. I've done terrible things. I know. And I love you anyway." She tilted her face up. "All of you. The darkness and the light. The devil and the man who builds sandcastles in his memories." His kiss was achingly tender. "Stay with me," he whispered. "Not just tonight. Always. Move in here. Let me wake up to you every morning. Let me come home to you every night. Let me build a life with you." Is that a proposal? Not yet. When I propose, it'll be perfect. Romantic. Everything you deserve. His smile was soft in the darkness. but this is me asking you to take the first step toward forever." Her answer was simple. Yes. 3 months later, Yuna stood in Tai Sung's legitimate office, the tech company that served as his public face. She wore a tailored suit, her natural curls styled professionally, a tablet in her hands. Around her, executives waited nervously for the CEO's arrival. "Miss Davis," one of them ventured. "Is it true you'll be heading the new community outreach division?" "It is," she smiled. "Mr. Choi believes the company should give back to Seoul's underserved communities. I'll be managing those initiatives." It was a cover, of course, a legitimate role that explained her constant presence at his side. But it was also real. Tae Sung had given her a substantial budget and full authority to make actual change. "Teaching me to be more than a monster," he'd said when presenting the idea. "Show me how to build instead of destroy." The door opened. Tae Sung entered, and the room's energy shifted. He commanded space effortlessly. Dressed in charcoal gray, his expression controlled, every inch the powerful CEO. But when his gaze found Yuna, warmth flickered in those dark eyes. "Good morning," he said smoothly. "Let's begin." The meeting lasted 2 hours. Yuna watched him work, negotiating contracts, making decisions worth millions, commanding respect through sheer competence. This was the legitimate side of his empire, and he was brilliant at it. Afterward, once the executives filed out, he crossed to where she stood by the windows. "You're staring," she murmured. "I'm admiring. There's a difference." His hand settled on her lower back, a possessive touch hidden from cameras, but unmistakable to her. "How was your morning?" "Productive. I met with 3 community centers about the scholarship program. They're all interested." Pride lit his expression. "You're changing my world, Yuna, making it better just by existing in it." "We're changing it together." His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and his expression shifted. Something dangerous entering his eyes. "What's wrong?" "Minji," he showed her the message. "We need to talk about the divorce settlement and about your pet." Yuna's jaw tightened. "Let me guess. She wants more money." "Probably. She's been bleeding me dry for months, trying to salvage her reputation after I left her." His thumb traced circles on her spine. "I'll handle it. Let me come with you. Yuna, together, remember. We face things together." He studied her face, then nodded slowly. "Okay. But if she says anything that crosses the line, we leave. Immediately. I won't have her poisoning you with her venom." They met Minji at an upscale cafe. She sat at a corner table, immaculate in designer clothes, her expression cold. When she saw Yuna beside Tae Sung, her lips curved into something cruel. "How domestic," she said in English. "The devil and his pet." "Careful," Tae Sung said softly, dangerously. "I'm trying to be civil. Don't make me regret it." Minji waved a dismissive hand. "Relax. I'm not here to cause drama. I'm here to negotiate. My lawyers have given you more than generous terms. I want the Gangnam property, the one your mother left you." Everything in Tai Sung went still. "No." "Then I'll drag this divorce out for years, make your life, and hers, miserable with legal battles and public scandals." Yuna's hand found his beneath the table, squeezing gently. He took a breath, visibly restraining himself. "Why?" he asked. "Why that property specifically?" "Because it matters to you. Because your mother gave it to you. Because taking it will hurt." Minji's smile was razor sharp. "You destroyed my family's alliance, humiliated me publicly, chose a black maid over me. Did you think there wouldn't be consequences? The consequences were your father and uncle dying when they tried to kill Yuna." His voice was ice. "Be grateful I stopped there." "Grateful?" Minji laughed. "You've made me a laughingstock, the woman the devil of Seoul divorced for Her gaze raked over Yuna with contempt. For that. Yuna felt Tae-sung tense, fury radiating off him, but she spoke first. You're right. He chose me. A black American maid with no connections, no money, no power. Want to know why? She leaned forward. Because I see him as human, not a weapon, not a status symbol, not something to use and discard. I love him, all of him. And that terrifies you, because in 8 years, you never even tried. Minji's composure cracked. You have no idea what you're talking about. I know he begged you for basic affection, and you laughed at him. I know you treated a good man like garbage, because you were too cold to see what you had. Yuna's voice was steady, strong. So no, you can't have his mother's property. You can't have anything else from him. Sign the papers, take your generous settlement, and move on. Because he already has. Silence crashed through the cafe. Minji stared at her, shock and rage warring in her expression. Then she looked at Tae-sung, who watched Yuna with undisguised awe. You really do love her, Minji said quietly. Almost. Sadly. More than I knew it was possible to love anyone, he confirmed. Something shifted in Minji's face. The cruelty faded, leaving exhaustion behind. I never wanted to be cruel. My father arranged our marriage, told me emotions were weakness, that I should use you, not love you. She looked away. Maybe I was the monster in our marriage, not you. We were both trapped, Tae-sung said, his voice gentler. But we're free now, both of us. So take the settlement. Build a new life. Find someone who actually wants to be with you, not someone assigned by family politics. Minji nodded slowly. Okay, I'll sign. But Tae-sung, she met his gaze. Be happy. Actually, be happy. It'll be the best revenge against everyone who tried to make us miserable. I intend to. They left the cafe hand in hand. That was... Tae-sung started. Intense? Terrifying? Weirdly satisfying. I was going to say magnificent. The way you stood up to her. He pulled her into an alley, pressing her against the brick wall with a kiss that stole her breath. You're incredible. Fierce and strong and mine. Yours, she confirmed against his mouth. And you're mine. Don't forget it. Never. His phone buzzed again. He groaned but checked it. It's Ho-jin. He's out of physical therapy. Wants to meet us for dinner. Yuna brightened. Really? I've been so worried. He's recovered fully. Thanks to your prayers and my best doctors. Tae-sung smiled. And he's bringing a date. Apparently, his nurse decided he was worth keeping. Love in the trauma ward. How romantic. Says the woman who fell for her Mafia boss employer while cleaning his office. She laughed. Fair point. Dinner was at a small Korean barbecue restaurant. Ho-jin looked healthy, the scars from the attack still visible but fading. Beside him sat a pretty woman named Dr. Shin Min-seo, who clearly adored him. Miss Davis. Ho-jin stood to bow. Thank you for coming. Just Yuna, please. We're friends. You saved my life. And you gave Mr. Choi a reason to save mine. His smile was warm. He paid for the best surgeons, the best care. I owe you both everything. You owe us nothing, Tae-sung said firmly. You did your job with honor. The debt is mine. They ate and talked and laughed. 4 people building new lives from the ashes of trauma. Min-seo told stories about Ho-jin being a terrible patient. Ho-jin countered with tales of her terrible singing while changing his bandages. It was normal. Human. Beautiful. Later, walking back to the car, Yuna leaned against Tae-sung's shoulder. This, she said softly, this is what I want. Not just the romance and passion, but this. Building a life, making friends, creating something good. Then that's what we'll have. He kissed the top of her head. I'm learning how, thanks to you. 6 months after that, Tae-sung took her back to the beach house. It had been renovated after the attack. New security, new memories waiting to be made. They arrived at sunset, the ocean painting everything gold. "Close your eyes," he instructed as they walked along the beach. "Why?" "Because I'm nervous, and you staring at me with those beautiful eyes isn't helping." She laughed but obeyed, letting him guide her steps. Sand shifted beneath her feet. Waves sang their eternal song. "Okay. Open." Yuna opened her eyes and gasped. The beach was covered in candles, dozens of them, protected from the wind by glass containers. They formed a path leading to where Tae-sung stood, holding a small velvet box. "Yuna Davis," he said, his voice rough with emotion. "You walked into my life when I'd given up on feeling anything real. You saw through the monster to the man underneath. You stood beside me through danger and darkness. You taught me that love isn't weakness. It's the only thing that makes any of this worth fighting for." He dropped to one knee. "I know I'm not easy. I come with a complicated world and a dangerous life. But I promise to spend every day trying to be worthy of you, to protect you, to cherish you, to build the life you deserve." He opened the box, revealing a ring, a stunning emerald surrounded by diamonds. "Marry me. Please. Let me be your husband, your partner, your home." Tears streamed down her face. "Yes. Yes, of course, yes." He slid the ring onto her finger and stood, pulling her into a kiss that tasted like ocean salt and happy tears and forever. "I love you," she whispered against his lips. "I love you more." "Not possible. We'll spend 50 years arguing about it." She laughed. "Deal." They married 3 months later. The ceremony was small, just close friends and the family that mattered. Ho Jin and Min Seo attended, now engaged themselves. Hae Won served as witness, crying through the entire ceremony. Yuna's mother flew in from Atlanta, her cancer in remission thanks to the treatments Tae-sung had arranged. "Thank you," Mrs. Davis told him quietly, "for saving my daughter, for loving her the way she deserves." "Thank you for raising a woman strong enough to save me," he replied. The ceremony took place at sunset on their beach. Yuna wore a dress that made her look like a goddess, ivory silk that hugged her curves, her natural curls crowned with flowers. Tae-sung couldn't stop staring. When the officiant asked if he took Yuna as his wife, his voice rang clear. "Absolutely, forever, no take-backs." Laughter rippled through the small gathering. Yuna's vows made him cry. "You taught me that love isn't about perfection. It's about seeing someone's darkness and choosing to bring light. You're my light, Tae-sung. My home. My heart. I choose you. Today and always." They kissed as husband and wife while the ocean applauded with waves and their friends cheered. The reception was perfect. Dancing under fairy lights, food that celebrated both their cultures, toasts that ranged from heartfelt to hilarious. Ho Jin gave a speech about how love could bloom anywhere, even in trauma wards and dangerous safe houses. "To the devil and his angel," he concluded, raising his glass. "May they prove that even the darkest souls can find redemption through love." "Here, here!" Later, as Yuna danced with her new husband, she felt complete. "What are you thinking?" Tae-sung murmured. "That I'm glad I overheard you that night. Glad I didn't run. Glad I chose to love a monster who turned out to be the best man I've ever known. I'm the lucky one, Yuna. You could have had anyone. I wanted you. Just you. Forever you." His arms tightened around her. Forever me. 1 year later, Yuna stood in their bedroom, the apartment that had become their true home. She studied the positive pregnancy test in her hands, joy and terror warring in her chest. They'd talked about children, planned for them. But seeing it confirmed made everything real. The door opened. Tae-sung entered, still in his suit from work exhaustion lining his face. Then he saw her expression. "What's wrong?" She held up the test. He stared, blinked, stared again. "Is that... we're having a baby?" The transformation was instantaneous. Exhaustion vanished, replaced by pure wonder. He crossed the room in 3 strides and dropped to his knees in front of her, pressing his face against her still flat stomach. "Hello," he whispered to her belly. "I'm your father, and I'm terrified. I don't know how to be a good dad. My own father was terrible at it. But I promise to try. I promise to love you completely, to protect you, to be better than what I came from." Yuna's hands tangled in his hair, tears falling freely. "You're going to be an amazing father." He looked up, his eyes wet. "You think so? I know so. Because you chose to be better. You chose love over darkness. You chose to build instead of destroy." She pulled him up, kissing him softly. "Our child will be so lucky to have you." "To have us," he corrected. "We're in this together. Always. Always." The pregnancy was monitored carefully. Tae-sung hired the best doctors, the best nutritionists, the best everything. He reduced his work commitments, delegating more to trusted lieutenants. His entire world narrowed to Yuna and the life growing inside her. "You're being overprotective," she told him one afternoon, laughing as he insisted she sit down after standing for 5 minutes. "I'm being appropriately protective. There's a difference. Tae-sung, I'm pregnant, not made of glass. You're carrying the most precious thing in my world. I'm allowed to be careful." His hand settled on her growing belly. "Do you know what this is? This baby is proof that something good can come from my life. That I'm not just a monster who destroys, that I can create, build, love." Her heart melted. "You're going to make me cry again. Pregnancy hormones? Husband being perfect hormones." He kissed her, slow and sweet. "I love you. Both of you. We love you too." 7 months into the pregnancy, complications arose. Yuna woke in the night, pain tearing through her abdomen. Tae-sung rushed her to the hospital, his face a mask of controlled terror as doctors examined her. "Preeclampsia," the lead doctor explained. "We need to deliver now. It's early, but waiting risks both mother and baby." "Do it," Tae-sung said immediately. "Save them. Both of them. I don't care what it costs. Sir, we'll do everything possible. But you need to prepare yourself." "No," his voice was steel. "They're both going to be fine. They have to be, because I can't..." His control cracked. "Please, save my family." The surgery lasted 3 hours. Tae-sung paced the waiting room like a caged animal, Ho-jin and Haiwan keeping vigil with him. He'd faced down enemies, survived assassination attempts, built an empire from blood and violence. But nothing had ever terrified him like this. Finally, a doctor emerged. "Mr. Choi?" He spun around. "Are they? Your wife is stable, exhausted but recovering well. And your daughter?" The doctor smiled. "Small but healthy. 5 pounds, 2 ounces. She's in the NICU as a precaution, but all her vitals are strong." Tae-sung's knees buckled. Ho-jin caught him. "A daughter?" His voice broke. "I have a daughter?" "You do. Congratulations." Yuna woke to find Tae-sung holding a tiny bundle. He sat in the chair beside her bed, still in blood-stained clothes from the emergency, tears streaming down his face as he stared at their daughter. "Tae-sung?" she whispered. His head snapped up. "You're awake, thank God. You're awake. The doctor said you'd be fine, but I couldn't stop thinking." He took a shaking breath. "I almost lost you. Both of you. But you didn't. We're here. We're okay." She held out her arms. "Let me see her." He stood carefully, placing their daughter in her arms with reverent gentleness. Yuna looked down at the tiny face, perfect brown skin, a dusting of dark hair, eyes closed in peaceful sleep. She's beautiful. She's everything. Tae-sung sat on the edge of the bed, his arm around Yuna's shoulders. I've been sitting here for an hour, just staring, trying to memorize every detail, promising her I'll be the father she deserves. What should we name her? They'd discussed names for months, but never decided. Isul, Tae-sung said softly. It means morning dew, something pure and beautiful, something untouched by darkness. Isul Davis Choi. Yuna tested it. It's perfect. She's perfect. You're perfect. This whole impossible, beautiful life is perfect. He kissed Yuna's temple. Thank you. For choosing me. For loving me. For giving me this. I don't deserve any of it. Yes, you do. You fought for it. Earned it. Changed for it. She leaned into him. You're a good man, Tae-sung. Not despite your past, but because you chose to rise above it. Little Isul made a small sound, and they both went still. Her eyes opened, dark like her father's, curious and alert. She looked at them, and Yuna swore something like recognition flickered there. Hello, beautiful girl, Tae-sung whispered. Welcome to the world. We've been waiting for you. 3 years later, their home filled with laughter. Isul ran through the apartment, all wild curls and endless energy, chattering in a mix of English and Korean. Tae-sung chased her, making monster noises that sent her into peals of giggles. I'm gonna get you. No, Appa, run away. Yuna watched from the kitchen, her hand resting on her pregnant belly. Their second child, a boy this time, due in 4 months. Ho-jin and Min-seo visited often with their own son. The children played while the adults talked about normal things, school choices, pediatricians, the challenges of raising toddlers. Tae-sung had semi-retired from his darker business, keeping only legitimate operations. He'd handed control of the underground empire to trusted lieutenants, choosing family over power. I spent 30 years building an empire, he'd told Yuna. Now I want to spend the rest of my life building something better. A family, a home, a legacy that isn't written in blood. And he had. That evening, after Isul fell asleep, Tae-sung and Yuna sat on their balcony. The Seoul skyline glittered before them, a city that had witnessed their love story from its bloody beginning to this peaceful present. Do you ever regret it? Tae-sung asked quietly. Choosing this life? Me? Yuna turned to him, her expression tender. Never. Not once. Even when it was hard. Even when I was scared. You were worth every risk. I love you. More than I have words to express. Show me then. She smiled. You have 50 more years to prove it, remember? 50 years minimum. He pulled her close, his hand settling on her belly where their son grew. I'm thinking maybe 60. 70 if you'll have me that long. Forever, Tae-sung. I'll have you forever. Promise? Promise. They kissed as the city lights sparkled, as their daughter slept peacefully inside, as their son kicked gently against his father's hand. A mafia boss who'd learned to love, a maid who'd seen past the monster, a love story written against impossible odds, and a family built from ashes, proving that even the darkest souls could find redemption, that even devils could become devoted husbands and fathers. That love, real love, could conquer anything.